Hello, everyone. I am one of your professors, Dylan, aka Professor Pickle, and with me, as always, we have.
Yo, what's going on, students? It's your Professor Matt Reggin, aka Tom here.
And welcome to the Anime Academia. Class is in session. Let's talk My Hero Academia. So, this podcast episode is going to exclude the movies because your Professor Regin has not watched the third movie yet. So we don't want to really talk about it. We'll hopefully do a review on that as well on the channel. But it is a spoiler video because we are going to talk a lot about in depth, at least with the anime aspect. At least I'm caught up with the manga. I'm not sure if your Professor Regin is. Yeah,
I
but we're
am.
not we're not
Yeah.
really going to dive too much into the manga. We're doing basically an anime um, centered podcast episode. But this pretty much these Let's Talks, we're going to do them with a bunch of different animes. We are going to do a overview of the anime, how we got into it, a rating system, and then we're going to have some special different subjects like favorite characters, arcs, stuff like that. So pretty much, the universe of My Hero Academia is where 80% of the population have these uncanny abilities called quirks. That's stealing it literally from the anime itself, what it says verbatim. I've watched it so many times. This may also very well be one of my favorite animes, like one or two. That's why I'm leading this one. Uh, but yeah, so the story follows young Izuku Midoriya, who was born a quirkless boy out of the 20%, who one day runs into the number one pro hero, All Might, who has this insane amount of power. And after showing how courageous he is and saving one of his classmates from a villain, the hero All Might tells him about his quirk, how he can transfer it from one person to another. And the story of My Hero Academia is pretty much how Izuku Midoriya becomes the world's greatest hero through a bunch of different villains, attacks, all that kind of stuff. He learns how to use his quirks, eventually becoming the pretty much the most powerful person ever. Like he gains multiple quirks. There's so many things that happen within the series. But yeah, that's just a basic overview. Nothing, it would take forever to go through every single thing about it. We can definitely do a deep dive in different seasons and stuff like that for different episodes. If there's anything I missed, Professor Regin?
I mean, nothing really. I mean, if you haven't watched My Hero, you definitely need to watch it. It's a great show, and he can vouch for me right here. I do not like protagonists. I do not like protagonists because they get all the love. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. This show made me fall in love with a protagonist. It's a rare occasion.
And also, your Professor Regin, I'm not sure if he has any merch. He was kind of a little bit unprepared. It was like a very quick call thing. But for audio listeners, I am currently wearing a My Hero Academia UA hat. Video listeners, or video watchers, of course, you can see. But that's something we're going to eventually get into. The farther we go, we're going to have merch. I'm going to hopefully have some cool background stuff for the different animes, stuff centered around that. But yeah,
And
so
hey, and hey, I got my main man Black Panther. I know it went out, but I got my main man Black Panther. Hey, Wakanda forever, T'Challa, R.I.P. Chadwick.
rest in peace. Yeah, so we're going to go in how we got into My Hero Academia. So one of my friends in high school, he he always wanted me to get into more animes. He actually introduced me to three of them, which My Hero's one.
Relatable.
He introduced me to One Punch Man and Naruto. And the way he did this is we would be sitting in our lunch break, and he's like, "Hey, watch this anime fight." And it was the Deku. Deku is Izuku's hero name, in case nobody knows that. But it was the Deku versus Muscular fight in season 3, the first arc, the Training Woods arc. And I was like, "This looks really, really cool. Like, I want to check this out." So I went home, watched the first season, and that's what I'm going to say. If you watch the first season, you will want to watch the rest of it. The first season is 12 episodes long. If you can get through that, you'll watch the rest of the series. It gets better and better. Yeah, that's how
I
I got
can vouch
into.
for that.
Yep, that's how I got into My Hero. How did you get into My Hero, Professor Regin?
So you wouldn't believe it, but you got me into My Hero because you hyped it up at Walmart so much, and I just kept on asking questions. Why should I watch it? Why should I watch it? Why should I watch it? And every response that he gave me basically was, if you like fights, you need to just watch it. If you like good character development, you need to watch it. If you like the fact that, like, if you like protagonists, you should watch it. That's where I kind of did a little grin towards him, like a little a protagonist. Why is he one of these guys? So I sat there, gave it a chance. Blank canvas, everything he said, I put in the back of my head. Watched the first season, like he said, and yeah, you go past the first season, I'm telling you, especially at the end of the first season, which basically slowly opens up the floodgate to what the lore of My Hero is. It just goes from being a five to, and I'm not rating the season as a five. I'm saying from what it is to what it is now, it goes from a five to a seven to a eight to a nine, and then it just keeps on going, and it's just like it's just a really good show. And I kept on talking to him about it, saying, man, I'm so excited for My Hero, I can't wait to keep watching. And he's like, yeah, just wait and just let me know when you get to this part. And I'm like, okay. And yeah, their movies are amazing too, which we're not talking about. But the second movie, though, out of all the movies, I only watched two, but the second one, though, which is this guy's favorite, that's all I gotta say. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's how I got into My Hero.
And that's the biggest issue with the anime, is that people still contribute it to being, Izuku Midoriya. He was a crybaby. He was very emotional. It's not that he isn't anymore, but he has such a big character development to where in the latest
That
season, season 6, he still cries, but he's crying because he's angry, he's in pain, he's breaking all the bones in his body
it's
to
good reasons.
absolutely
Yeah.
destroy the main villain Shigaraki. And they still like put him in this category, but they don't see the development because they won't watch it. They get a bad taste for the protagonist, and like like there's very little animes that start off good. There's some that start off really good, but like they build up, and it has a really bad first taste in its mouth. But like if you can just get through, if you can get like probably halfway to season 2, I want to say.
Hey,
No,
I like
even
to disagree with that. I like to strongly disagree with
okay.
that. And the only reason I strongly disagree is because how he just described that people say that he's a crybaby and everything. That was my main reason why I was like very iffy about it, because it's like, I get it why you're crying, but you're doing way too much crying.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get to the part where it's the USJ, correct? It's the
Yes,
USJ.
I was just
If
about to
you get
say.
to the if you go to and just sit there and watch the USJ portion of it, of the first season, which is towards the end, you get to that. That's what I'm talking about. Is the floodgate is slowly opening. That's where you grow to love it. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I
No,
had to just at least say the crybaby part. If you can go through that and understand this man and looking back at it, you're gonna be like, I'm glad I just stuck through it.
yeah, I'm pretty sure season 1, episode 11, titled All Might, if I'm not mistaken.
He
That's
is here.
that is the episode you want to go watch. That's what got me hooked. Christopher Sabat is the voice actor for All Might, and he does such a good job. Also, the voice actor for Vegeta from Dragon Ball and all that, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super,
And Piccolo
and
and
yes, and
Zoro
Piccolo, and Zoro,
and
yep,
Yamcha.
and Yamcha. Yeah, he's
I mean, he's not quite a bit of work here.
but yeah, so that's how we got into My Hero. A little spiel about My Hero. But so we are going to go through a rating system for My Hero. It's something I threw up really quick. Really quick. It is a out of 10.
Yo,
We are
wait,
going.
wait. I don't mean to hold you up because I just looked up all the voice acting that he did. Bro, this man was in my favorite anime because, bro, he was Kuwabara in the OVA. I'm sorry. It was a hyped up moment. And Zoro. We all know. Anyway, continue. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so we have a rating system out of 10. We have 4 different categories with an overall. We have the plot slash story kind of combined, same thing. We have the characters, we have the fight scenes, and we have the animation. So I'm gonna go through all my ratings, give my overall. Professor Reggin's gonna go over his ratings, give his overall, and then we're gonna discuss the two, kind of combat. He is much more of a harsh rater than I am because I just like anime, so I might not have as low as numbers as him or even as high. We're gonna see. But yeah. So for the plot and story, I gave My Hero Academia an 8 out of 10. So with this, it's because like I love the story. I think it's great. Does it feel rushed? Yes, because everything's happening within like a year time span. Like realistically, they should be getting into like another sports festival. Like they just finished their first year of school and they're already like in war with the villains. Like do I feel like they're exceptional students to be able to gain this much power in a year? Sure. But imagine how cool it would be to see another sports festival and see them, maybe a time skip like My Hero Academia Shippuden. But it's also, I'm pretty sure, if I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure I'm not, but it's Horikoshi, the writer for My Hero. He wanted to end My Hero quite a while ago, and that's why he's making it fast paced. But yeah, so that's why I give it an 8 out of 10. I do feel like it's rushed, but overall, I still enjoy the story. Huh, characters. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for the characters. There's character development in a lot of animes. There's some that, there's not. Like, there's some characters that always stay the same. But for My Hero, it is so noticeable. Especially with, like, there's a big three. You have Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki. I would say Bakugo probably has the biggest character development, but you can see all three of them. You have Deku, who's the crybaby, quirkless, who goes to be the greatest hero. You have Bakugo, who's the bully, telling Deku to kill himself, to being he's now thinking of others. He is working better with others. He is more caring. He sees his own weaknesses in what he thought was his strengths. And then Todoroki, who was a rejection of his father's power, all that stuff, and now he's making it his own. Super powerful, super awesome. But yeah, so characters get a 10 out of 10 for me. Not just for the characters themselves, but really on the character development with those characters. You see it across the board with almost everyone, even some of the B characters and like not like class B, like the B, C, D characters. Like everyone has character development.
Hey, and just to piggyback off that too, though, piggybacking off that, it's not just the students itself, though. You kind of see character development throughout the whole, like throughout almost everybody in the universe. If you have a question about
Yes.
somebody, even if it's quick or just a little bit, they still give you some kind of character development.
Pro
Sorry,
Heroes.
go ahead,
Yep.
continue.
Pro Heroes Endeavor's the biggest one for that. Villain Shigaraki's the biggest one for that. This skinny little gamer boy who turns into this absolute overlord. Like, okay, we'll talk about it. I see that. I see that look on your face. But so next, the next subject we have is fight scenes. Now, fight scenes in My Hero Academia. When it's a major fight scene, it's a major fight scene. Even excluding the movies, there are such good fights, and that's why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. They're they're just they're insane. Even if it's just like you take Deku versus Muscular, just brute absolute strength. You have some of the best fights in anime history. Take All Might versus All for One. Chef's kiss, so good. United States of Smash, best hardest line in anime.
He just didn't put his back into it, bro.
He didn't. But yeah, so then we're moving on to animation. Now, if it wasn't for I'll go into season 5 as well, but also mainly season 6, it would be a lot lower than it is. But it's coming to an 8.7 because it's had a very very vibrant, very colorful animation throughout the series. I really like that. The colors really contrast well. But Bones, the animation studio for season 7, just absolutely made it like the tone was so dark which made those colors pop even more. When you have faux 100%, you have for Deku using Black Whip, Smoke Screen, like all these colors just coming together. Vigilante Deku, so good.
Oh,
Like
and Lady Maga.
Nagant,
If I'm messing
yes.
up her name or whatever, but just her using her quirk with how the darks were
Yeah.
popping right there. That's what you're talking about though, because
Yes.
most of that arc though, I don't mean to keep on cutting you off, but most of that arc is in like a darker set tone. So
Yes.
for them to pop those colors, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, if I were to include movies, it'd probably go up to maybe like a 9.5. We won't get into that, but excluding movies, it's an 8.7. So averaging them all out, I get like 8.925, so I rounded. So overall, this anime, for me at least, with these four categories, is getting a 9 out of 10. So I will hand it over to Professor Reggin.
All right, Dylan. All right. I see you. I see you. So he called me a hard critic, and that's just because I watch so many animes that I'm comparing to what I've seen throughout my time here. I know I'm sounding like an old man. What they sell in chocolates? That's just how I felt right there. But anyway, we're going to the plot and story here. I'm a little nicer than this guy right here. I gave it a 9 out of 10. The reason why I gave it a 9 out of 10 is just because I will beg to differ with him where he says about the year right there. To me, it was a perfect balance because when they're moving on, they're doing it at such a great pace to me. It's not a perfect pace, but it is a great pace where they're going from the sports festival to where they're getting internships to where it's literally just they keep on showing you the process of how they become a hero, but also bring in the character development at the same time, though, where it just keeps on boosting up. And then the reason why the plot got me to be a 9 out of 10 is because when you get to certain fights, they're literally boosting how I feel about the plot and story. Like Muscular versus Deku, like that fight itself right there made me have a new light on Deku, which made me appreciate his character even more because he he's just an underrated protagonist though. Like I'm thinking he's underrated because I originally didn't even like him, and then I grew to love him because he's everything you want in a protagonist, and you don't have to hate it. And just All Might versus One for All, just that on top of it, where they make you feel like, okay, we're not even gonna go see the guy behind the computer, and then what happens? Boom, get hit right away with introduction to the big bad. Basically, we get introduced to more Nomus, which we just thought, okay, a Nomu is basically just 4 or maybe just 5 like random just spawns, like they're just like little pawns in the game. No, they play a bigger part in this game than what we actually expected, and being told, oh, you can have 6 of them because we don't have the rest of them fully developed. What? And then you just see the growth of Deku the whole way, and everybody else. Oh, all right, but that's for character development. But yeah, which we're on right now. Character development, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Reason I would say 10 out of 10 is because every character that I have witnessed or seen, even if it's just a small little amount, and Dylan's appreciating me because I was harsh on My Hero because I didn't take a look and fully digest all of My Hero. And because I'm rewatching it, I'm enjoying every minute of it and taking it through every other anime that I have watched. The character development with how the plot slash story is and the pacing of it is going so smoothly with it. Even Mineta, I'm getting a love for, and that man only throws his balls at people, bro. And he's such a perv, but I grew to like him because he's slowly becoming not just a comic relief. They still give him his comic relief moments, but he's growing a little bit more and more maturely. I know. You hate Mineta just like you hate Sue, and I get you. I get that. I know. You see his face. Listen, for everybody listening to this, that man literally eye rolled so hard it was worse than the Undertaker doing an eye roll in WWE, if you know. But anyways, though, I love all the character development. I feel like it was all great, and my favorite character development out of all of them, man, I gotta give it to Shoto. But anyway, we're gonna go over to fight scenes. This is where I'm a little more harsh on. fight scenes, I give it an 8 out of 10. Reason for is just because some of the fights are amazing, and then there's some of the fights that basically are lackluster at times. Like, I'll get it All For One versus All Might, which is amazing. And then I will get a short fight where it's Muscular versus Deku Part 2, when that fight could have been so much longer, better, and stronger, to me at least. Um, I don't know. To me, I just feel like they could do a lot more lengthier fights. Like Stain versus uh jeez Louise, I can't think of his name
That's
right now,
one A.
Dylan. Yes, the speed guy basically.
Tenya.
Deku. Yeah, Tenya, Deku, and
Shoto.
Shoto. Just that was a killer fight, and then just the whole Stain putting the fear and opening up what the League of Villain is becoming because he's basically the symbol. I give it an 8 out of 10. Just like I said, there's some fights that could be better. There's some fights that could be a lot more action, but it's an 8 out of 10 because it's still good fight scenes. It's not lackluster to the point where it's literally I could skip over it. It's still important, but I think I'm mainly going towards like the licensing and stuff like that because those fights I'm expecting to be more crazy because we're getting introduced to new heroes and training and I don't know, like the sports festival, the first round super quick. You didn't even get a taste of half of the people, and it's like I'm looking at them and like it's super cool these characters looks and what they say their powers are, but it's done. That was the quickest fight scenes. And to me, if the sports festival from each round was a little more length out, not saying completely a full episode's worth, but just like a little bit more showing of their powers and stuff, I could give it a 9 out of 10. But and then animation, there's just so many good animes in today's world, like Demon Slayer, where it's just out of this world animation, beautiful. I give it an 8 out of 10 just because it's still good. Like he was saying, the animation does get better in the later seasons. It's not the animation is bad at all. It's just for the style that it is and for the show that we're getting, it's good. It's not amazing. It's great, but it's not amazing. It's not breathtaking. It's not something that I say, I like how this looks. I'm going to go ahead and sit here and go through the story, and hopefully I love the whole plot because the animation is beautiful and it's making me want to keep on watching. That's how I got into Demon Slayer. First 5 seconds, boom. Just the snow. But anyway, overall, I give it a 9 out of 10. I give it a 9 out of 10. It's something I would recommend to everybody who's just starting out in the anime, for the people who like newer looks of animation and stuff like that. I say you got to give it a try. 9 out of 10 is I feel like it's a good rating. I feel like it's an honest rating just because you get story development, you get character development, you get great fights, not amazing, but great fights. You get animation that upgrades throughout the story, and just I don't know how you can't fall in love with the protagonist. That's why I gave it a 9 out of 10 because they proved to me a protagonist can be loved. And I don't have a full list of protagonists I love.
So, so My Hero Academia, both of us will give it a 9 out of 10. For your ratings, I agree with everything. I agree. I'm okay with your score for the fight scenes. There's just one thing that threw me off. It was when you mentioned like how you didn't enjoy the muscular rematch. Because I agree, the Stain fight, I feel like it was good. I feel like it was decently. It was. I feel like it was a decent length. I feel like you could have added more. I do feel like you could have added more.
They gave all right. They gave it 1.25 episodes because at the end that's when you see Stain attacking. Can't think of his name. The guy with the boots.
Tenya, Ingenium.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Genium.
Same amount of time that the first muscular fight got. I'm pretty sure that got 1 to 1.5 episodes.
But the thing was though.
All for one.
Wait.
All for one,
Go ahead,
1.5 episodes. I think All for One got 1.5 episodes, if not maybe 2 at the most, but I think 1.5. So is it the length, or is it just the action that came with it?
So I think it's a little bit of both that plays into it because the action that are you talking about specifically the Muscular versus Deku
No,
fight,
no,
the fight
we're
we're
still
talking
talking
about,
about the
or
stain.
in general?
We're talking about stain still.
Stain? Oh, bro. So I actually like Stain. I like the fight. That
Yeah,
wasn't one of
yeah.
the.
I
So
thought you
you're
brought up
saying
stain. I thought you brought up stain, saying how because you talked about two different fights that made you rate it that low, which was the muscular rematch and the stain fight. Were
well, no,
you
I was saying
saying
the Stain. I was saying the Stain fight. I was enjoying that fight was amazing compared to the round two of Deku versus Muscular. Was it awesome to
my
see?
okay, my bad. I completely took that. So that, but
You good?
still, the muscular versus Deku rematch, I do have a kind of an issue with that because I feel like it was perfect for the length. I feel like it had to be there because this is a showing of how not only how much Izuku has evolved, not evolved, but how much he has improved. Because he almost died against Muscular. He had to push his body to the brink 1,000,000%. Delaware Detroit Smash. This shows how much more stronger he's got. Not only that, but how quickly he's adapting to using the rest of his quirks. He he smoke screened, black whipped, and one for all of them danger sense as well. He incorporated four different quirks in order to bring down and was able to use 45% one for all, the strongest up to date without hurting himself against Muscular. Now, granted, Muscular was already slightly weakened from off-brand Deku. I can't think of his actual name. I think it's like Shindo or Shish, something.
Like that.
Um,
Yeah.
but I was going to call him off-brand Deku. I'll have a picture of him up on the screen. But from his Tremble quirk. But yeah, so I think it was a perfect length. I think that it was a good representation of just how far Deku has come since season 3, beginning of season 3, middle of the season 6. How far he's come.
So this is my reason why I have to like fight you on that because it's like this though. Did we not already see how strong that Deku has become when he faced against Shigaraki though? I'm just saying though, we've got more of a taste of more of his quirks against Shigaraki. And to me, it was like this though. Yes, Muscular was weakened and stuff like that. But to me, I didn't feel like Deku should have been that powerful. I felt like it should have been I'm not saying Deku should have never won. Deku 110% should have won. The outcome should have still been the same. I'm just saying I would have liked to see a little bit more length between the fight, a little bit more of a little bit of a struggle. And I would just love to see Muscular be a little bit more intelligent, I guess, or like a little bit more empowered. I guess the whole thing is that I am more disappointed in Muscular than Deku
Yeah.
itself. That's where I'm saying where I wish the fight could have been lengthed out just a little bit more because those two clashing against each other is a great battle idea. I would just love to see just Muscular being freed and having a vengeance. I would have loved that he didn't get basically weakened by the off-brand Deku as much and be able to squash that guy more and be able to give Deku, I don't know, maybe 120 or something like that, push himself a little bit more and then kind of make Deku just not use his powers right off the bat like that. Make Deku think right off the bat. Because I get it. He's Vigilante Deku. He's literally like, I need to take care of things right off the bat. I'm not playing around. I need to make sure All For One can't find me. I need to find him and I need to make sure that I get to him as quick as possible. Take out the League. I get it. But at the same time, though, I would love to see a more written out fight between the two. That's just my
No,
personal
no,
preference.
I completely see it, and I get that. I see. I just can't see Muscular being like using his brain like that. Because if you probably skimmed over that fight, because or not skimmed over it, but like you're rewatching the series currently, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's been a minute. Because like in the fight, he says how he's not there for revenge. He's there just for the thrill of the fight.
Yeah. No, I understand that. But this is the
Yeah,
thing, though. If you're in prison for that long, though, you know what I'm saying? If you're in prison for that long, like here's a prime example Frieza being stuck in hell on Earth. he sat there and meditated and got better and stronger. And Frieza never trained once in his life. But the moment he did, he became Golden Frieza and then gave them a fight. That's where I was hoping, because
Yeah,
I was hoping for more of, he's going to think a little bit and figure out how he could outbeat Deku Beat and figure out, how did I lose
no,
to
I
become
get
a
that. Yeah,
better version.
no, but yeah. So no, I get that. But yeah, so overall, both of us give it a 9 out of 10 for My Hero Academia. Pretty good, pretty good. Definitely, I am happy with that. I was really worried that we were gonna get a lower score. So yeah, averages out to 9 out of 10. So that's our ratings for My Hero. Now we're going to dive into the topic that I've been most excited for, because stuff like this really, this could either be like, oh, we have similar taste, or this is how, like, Tom and I, like, we have very
Difference.
different things. So we're going to go over our top 5 favorite characters for the students, the pro heroes, and the villains. Now the reason we're doing it broken up like that is because overall, my top 5 favorite characters are probably students if I were to go. I want to include some pro heroes, I want to include some villains. So we broke it up like this. So we're each going to go through each category. We're going to go through, I'll do my 5, he'll do his 5. At the end, we're going to go through and talk about how we feel about where we put people. But so
Kind of like a
yes.
deliberation, like asking, like, why did you put him like this? If it's something that's questionable to us, we're gonna go, hey, gloves off, asking why.
A
That's
lot of
basically what it
questions.
is. It's gonna be a debate. Yeah.
But okay.
Uh,
So okay. So I will start with my number 5, who is from class 1A,
okay.
and he will be how do I say his name? Ijiro Kirishima, aka Red Riot.
Well, Dylan,
I
you
just real quick, I liked him from the very beginning. He was good, but I feel like where everyone really started appreciating him is in the overall arc, the Ji Sakai arc, when he goes unbreakable. Oh my god, one of the best. Comparing it to the manga panel, even too, like one of the my favorite scenes from My Hero Academia. Just so good. But yeah, so my number 5 is Kirishima.
the reason why I was trying to cut you off real quick, and you basically explained it why. My number 5 is Red Riot himself.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Let's go. See, exactly. Like, so now we don't really have to talk too much about this. Like, we love him. He's not up there, but like he deserves to be on my list.
No, facts, facts. Especially for the fact that, and this is the one thing that I loved about a little bit of Red Riot, is that he actually got to see a big player in the villains, though, Gigantamax or whatever his name is.
Gigo Makia.
Yeah, yes, that he was in the flashback right there. That was cool to me. But then him always being like, I gotta be so manly and shivery and stuff like that. I was just like, all right, I vibe with it. And then, like he said, the overhaul
Yeah.
arc, that's where literally he went above on my list, because not even just that, the whole overall arc where he could literally take away the bullet and get smacked right in the head, nothing.
Oh, so good.
Literally learn to harden and harden and harden and take All
Against
Might's words to, yeah,
Rappa. I think it's Rappa.
yes.
It was
And
actually
then,
Crimson Riot, not All Might. Crimson Riot was his
no, well, no, see, what I was gonna
Oh
say was,
no! I
to
no,
be a bulldozer.
yes,
That's what I was gonna say.
I know what you're talking about. Yep, yep. He has All Might teaching him that, and then Crimson Riot. He had that flashback on how it's
Yep.
okay to be scared.
And then he just literally kept on harden, and for him to, in mid battle, already arms hurt, armor done, and goes mid battle and says, "I gotta keep on getting harder. I just gotta keep pause." But anyway, gotta keep on getting harder and harder and harder, and just they were a shield and sword the whole time. I mean, a
Back
shield and a spear the whole time, and they played it off saying they're both shields, and it was just amazing of a finish. Anyway, number 4.
So okay, yep. So number 4 for me is, oh my goodness, Class 1A. Probably she. So you're gonna be surprised when I say this, but she is currently my number 1 best girl, favorite anime girl. But she is really close in the running to losing that position. Maybe not losing it, but being close to being tied. But it is Ochako Uraraka. I just, she definitely still is a love interest for Deku, even in season 6. I can say that, but she also like is like I can feel them trying to branch out. Like Horikoshi has a hard time writing women. If you watch the whole series, like you definitely can see that he had a hard time writing women. But I just everything about her Uraraka, I just love. I love her quirk's awesome. How she learned martial arts from Gunhead and incorporated that with her quirk, especially the teaser for the third movie when they're on the drug plane and she used like a gravitational slam down. Like it was so good. But no, yeah, I just especially my favorite fight with her. One of my favorite fights is her versus Bakugo in the Sports Fest. So good. But yeah, so my number 4 is Ochako Uraraka.
Well, my number 4, there's only one way to say this. Pow! I love Lemillion, man. Lemillion. I loved every second of that character. Just to the way that he took on 20 of 1A's finest, no, sorry, 19 of 1A's finest people. Why? Because Bakugo was still on house arrest after the fight. But Lemillion, how he made up for letting Sherry, right? Eerie. Sorry, I'm bad with names, but Eerie, yes. Letting Eerie go and making it up by fighting Overhaul with basically his great power himself. He literally fought Overhaul and he was going to beat Overhaul if it wasn't for the simple fact that a bullet was going to be shot right at Eerie and he lost his quirk. If he didn't lose his quirk, so they rock lead him basically. They nerfed him because they knew for the simple fact if Lemillion was going to keep up at this pace, he was going to take over Deku's place. And I'm not gonna lie, I really could see why he could have been All Might's successor, and I really do believe he could have been. I would have been fine if that was Lemillion's story instead of Deku's, but I'm just saying.
Nope.
I love that character. I just love him going pow and just training harder than anybody for his awesome quirk that people thought is easy. And he literally, with the flashbacks and everything, and he just said, "I'm gonna be the greatest hero ever," and just, I love it. I love it.
Great character.
Number 4 for me.
Okay, so I feel very basic with my next couple ones, but oh, I think I know what you're talking about. But yeah, so I'm
right?
I'm gonna go with my third one. I can't not love these next 3 characters, and all of them can easily flip flop between who's 1, 2, and 3. But this is what I feel right now. But let me just make sure I wrote it down right. Number 3 is the Shoto Todoroki. Hero named Shoto. He just, from the beginning, he used to be my favorite all across the board. And it's not that I'd like him less, I just like 2 others more. Or equally. I can really flop 1, 2 anytime. Or not 1, 2, 2 and 3 anytime. But yeah, Shoto, he's so cool. He's so cool. Being able to have fire and ice, a real representation of these quirk singularity theory, where quirks keep developing more and more and get stronger and stronger. Like his whole story too. Like, do the flashbacks get a little tired eventually? A little bit, but either way, like it's just so cool. And like the way he uses both powers to make them stronger. It's just like flash freeze wave. So good. But yes, that's my number 3 is Shoto.
So my number 3 is also the boy Shoto. Why?
Let's
Why? I know. Let's go. Why? I got one Agara vibe from him. Dad basically hated him. Resented their fathers both. I mean, for Shoto to come so far from being just, and you can see it in his character design too, though, from being just a whole ice half with the red eye to literally melting that slowly. And that was something I know I didn't really notice till after the rewatch, but if you notice though, him losing more and more of that ice was a way of showing his character development. And that's where the 10 out of 10 for my character development is mainly going through with these next three picks, because Shoto's character development is crazy, from being this guy you have no idea about to he wants to go take over as the number one hero in the future, as his father wants to be. And he grows to build more of a relationship with his mother. He goes ahead and learns to accept his father. And then he literally wants to help get his brother to the good side.
Mhm.
And I just love that he was the first character introduced to have two, two
Works.
quirks. Two quirks, because we've never seen it till up to that point. Even when we knew he was ice and fire, when he slowly started getting more and more, that's what made me put him in the top three.
Very good.
The man
Yep.
Shadow.
So yeah, we're two for three right now with same picks. But so okay, so leading into my next character, number two slot. Oh, this person. Not only have they had probably, as far as students goes, honestly, even characters, the biggest character development. Also is so part of Class 1A. Also is the what I feel like the most funniest character in the series has to go to Katsuki Bakugo, or a
You bastard!
great explosion murder god Dynamite. If I said that correctly in the correct way, yeah, it's just like his character development is so good. But almost every single scene that he is in, I can't stop laughing. His side comments, all the things he says, the faces he makes, they're just they're too good. They're too funny. But he also makes me the most emotional. His second fight with Deku versus Kachan number 2, so emotional. You can feel the pain that he's feeling. That he felt like he destroyed All Might. Like, it is just so good. And he has some of my favorite moves. Freaking howitzer. Is it just howitzer blast, something like that? I can't remember it. Howitzer impact, X catapult, AP shot. Like, these are some of the coolest names. And the way he like defines his quirk, and the way that he's still slowly keeping up with Deku. Like, yeah, it's hard. Deku has all these insane quirks now, but like, he's still insanely strong, insanely powerful, and he has a really good quirk. But yeah, so that is my number two.
Hey, Dylan. Well, my number two pick is Suit. Nah, just play it. Is Great Explosive Murder God Dynamite. Let's go.
I was about
You
to cancel the
bastard.
I was about to cancel the podcast. If you continue that, I was like, I quit. I'm done. Who's
I
who's
literally
who's
just,
Tom?
I literally just wanted to just see his reaction on that. His reaction was great, but yeah, I mean, he named off basically a good amount of the points what I would have brought up. I love that he decided to make part of his like gear to absorb his sweat into his gauntlets so he can make a bigger explosion, which was something crazy, and I didn't think about that. And then once they explained it a little bit, I'm like, he is going to be overpowered. And he's not even overpowered. That's the great part about it. His development as a character itself is amazing. And I mean, so my one and my two is a flip flop. I'm just saying, my one and a two is a flip flop. But I'm telling you though, my number one barely edges, and I mean like this much. It
I
is so
agree.
hard. But
So
I'm
would
just
mine.
saying,
Yeah.
just the development, how he basically became his own. You thought he was this cocky, arrogant person, like he said when it was Deku versus Baku number two, and you learn the truth about Kanchan's whole like love for All Might, how he always thought Deku was always mocking him and being more ahead of him, and then once he finally realizes that this is why he was getting the misinterpretation of Deku is thinking he's better than him. That's where he slowly was taking a turn back. And then when they had to stop Vigilante Deku, that's where it was a seal for me. I was like, character development, 10 out of 10 again. Here you go. Give this man his dues. I can't complain. He'd be mad at me and he'd probably blow me up if he heard he was number 2. But he's
Yeah.
number 2 for me. Like I said, 1 and 2 is flip flop.
Now,
Can we just say this together? Come on. You said students. Can we just get this over with? Because
are we
you
gonna
know
say
this as well as I do.
Are we gonna say hero
3,
name?
2, yeah, hero name. 3, 2, 1.
Deku.
Do
So my explanation is that I am and I'm not a very big main character guy. There's some animes where like it shows my hero being one, he's the main character. But I thought about like, do I really like main characters? Spoiler alert, yes and no. I'm not gonna talk about a certain anime because we're doing that soon. I think that's the next podcast we're doing. But Dragon Ball Goku's not my favorite. He's not that close either. He's one that like made the top 5. But I'm not going too much in Dragon Ball. It's Gohan. Gohan's my favorite. But yeah, okay. I don't want to go too much into Dragon Ball.
I can't wait. I can't wait to fight you on this one. Ooh, stay tuned because I'm about to dig into him.
But yeah, so I do like a good main character, and Deku is that. He is a good main character. I just like him. I like Deku as a character. I love his lines. I love his story. I love his adversity and how he wants to be a good hero. He wants nobody to worry about him, and he wants to be strong enough to save people. You know, he wants to win by saving. Which you have other characters like Bakugo who wants to save by winning. If you understand that, you know, Deku wants to save people. No, he wants to win by saving people. Bakugo wants to save people by winning. Kind of like a parallel. Like those two can flip back and forth. But yeah, that is why I just enjoy Izuku Midoriya, hero named Deku.
So my reason for loving the boy named Deku or the man named Deku is because I saw this kid being the little crybaby, I hate you protagonist too. Man, he gives me so many chills because he is just developing. He is so smart. He is so smart on his feet when it comes to battles. Like when you thought, oh, he's just mumbling and writing down all this stuff. He took all of that knowledge and even he ditched the notebook in like season 3, I believe it is. He ditched that and he still as a whole made sure that he could still be on top of his game.
Mm-hmm.
He's so smart. He literally has great character development. And for him to not like, yeah, did I complain that he has way too many powers? Absolutely. But at the same time, though, the way that they introduce each power is what makes it great because he's having inner struggle with himself, which is causing him to get these powers at a slower pace than if he wasn't conflicting with himself with the other 8 users, right? It's 8 users because he's number 9. Yeah, the other 7 users, technically 7 because 8 is All Might. Well, no, All Might technically isn't there yet. So, or
just
could or could not be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why I love Deku. Deku's just he's just that guy. Like I said before in the beginning, I don't like protagonists.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's we literally went 4 for 5. I had Ochako, you had a Lemillion. I could definitely throw Lemillion in there. I didn't really think of the big 3. When it comes to that, the big 3 I kind of gamble with because like I love Amajiki. I feel like I would also love Hado if she had more screen time. I think she's a funny character, but like her quirk's bizarre. But yeah, Lemillion is definitely he's a goat. But I had to put Ochako on there. She's not better than the big 3, but I will put her.
It's your person. It's your take though. That's the thing though.
Which I'm surprised
they can discuss with you if you want.
I'm surprised you didn't say anything about how there's somebody else in the running for not somebody. There's technically 2 people in the running for my new best girl. Well, we can talk about that in next week's episode. If that's a teaser.
Yeah. I knew what you're talking about. We good.
Okay.
I respect it.
But so that was our students. I was actually thinking that you were going to do somebody from Shiketsu High. I think that's the name. Like
I was.
Were you? Okay, so now we're moving into
Wait, wait,
Pro
wait, wait,
Hero.
wait, 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 wait. Before we go into that,
Yes.
who?
Was it going to?
You
Was
can
it?
name the you can name the court.
Inasa, the wind quirk.
Yep.
Yes, that's who I thought. Which I like. He's cool. Um,
I just like him and showed how him and he was like, Endeavor, I love you. Get away from me.
yeah.
Shoto, I love you. You're in my way.
But okay, so we are moving on to Pro Heroes. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. We'll start with number 5, and this one I don't think. Before I want to make a quick prediction. Honestly, not only are we going to have, let me quickly look here. Not only are we going to have maybe one for 5, like we'll have the same person for maybe one slot, but I think if anything, we'll have 2 of the same people on our list. I guarantee you won't have 3 of the people I have on mine.
I don't know, man. I'm thinking 3. I think there's a possibility of 3. I
Okay.
don't see 4. I see 3 though. It just depends on how you value
Yeah.
the third choice that I'm thinking in my head.
But
That's
so
all.
my number 5 is Shishido. Now, if you don't know who that is off the top of your head, it's because I think he was in season 6 a little bit, but he is the Lion Hero. You can watch him in the OVA MLB major. Is it it's HLB Hero League Baseball, where the Lionels go against the Orcas with Gank Orca. Gank Orca, honorable mention. He did not make the list, but Gank Orca is badass. I love him. But after just watching that OVA, Shishido, he's just so cool. Like he just has a quirk of a lion, but like he's super strong. I'm pretty sure he has like a roar ability as well. But he's so cool. I'll put a picture up just in case like nobody else really knows what he looks like. But no, I think he's really cool. And yeah, I enjoy him as a pro hero. That's my number 5 pick.
So my number 5 is Mirko.
Mirko, the
Yeah, Miracle. My
yeah,
apologies. The
that,
bunny girl. Bro, she walked in that lab, said, "What up, Nomus?" Said 5 Nomus, "What's up?" Came up and literally took all of them and then broke Shikaraki's container. That she and was getting damaged. Basically, if it was any other hero that's not on my list over here, they probably would have not been able to handle it all.
oh yeah,
Probably, most likely. But for her to come in there to get a taste of who she is, and our introduction really is for her to come in against 5 Nomus and then break the glass.
high end Nomus.
Come
I have to
on,
say,
man.
high end
Come
Nomus.
on.
Yep.
That's what I mean, though. These are finished no moves. These are not just your save Bakugo arc no moves, or these are the no moves that are in the Stain arc. These are the no moves who are talking at full display and also just menaces and does not care. Miracle.
Now I do like that answer because Mirko's my number 4. I
Okay.
agree. She came in with a bang. She is something else. But no, I just really think that it was badass for her to fight 5 high end Nomus by herself, absolutely destroy. And not only that, but if you do go into the manga, she only becomes more and more badass. But excluding manga, she's still a badass. And yeah, I really like Mirko. You said a
My
lot
number
about her,
4.
so
Oh yeah, hey,
yeah.
I get it. I get it. That's how I felt with Bakugo when we were doing it. But yeah, so my number 4 is Fat Gum. I see. I love Fat Gum because I thought he was just gonna be this blob. I thought he could just only get impact, but then once I saw that this man is just not a shield, he's a spear. That's where he won me over because he just kept on taking blows after blows after blows, and then just butterfly fist, just like Choji in Naruto. Bam! I love it. I love it. The idea of Fat Gum is cool. I love the whole aspect of it. That the more impact he takes, the stronger his punch is
Mm.
at the end. I don't know. I like the design. I like the ability, and I like the character as a whole. That's why he's my number 4.
No, I can definitely agree. I enjoy Fat Gum. Moving on to my number 3, however, which I don't know if you ever saw this coming, would be Kamui Woods. Now,
No, I knew he was gonna bring him up. When I did not know, I figured it would be 2 or 3, but I knew because this man, when I like I said how I met him, this was one of the characters that he said he likes that gets literally zero showtime, basically.
yes, yeah. So he shows up in the very first episode. I don't think he's the first hero. I can't remember. It's either him or Death Arms. Uh,
No, neither of them. I'm pretty sure it's not Death Arms. I'm pretty sure it's the fire hydrant one,
the
the
fire
one that
hydrant
shoots
guy.
the water. Yeah, yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
But no, yeah, he's one of the first heroes that shows up, and he's just like that basic cool, like wood quirk, but like he seems so cool in the Camino arc when he's helping to save Bakugo. Really, really cool. He does a great job in the was it Paranormal Liberation Front, uh, going to the secret base and helping out there. But from this man to go like a pretty low rank to being like a common brand new hero to being on the top 7 hero in the hero billboard chart was absolutely crazy, and I popped off when I saw that. And like I feel like he's underrated. I feel like he doesn't get enough screen time, and he is one of my favorite characters.
My favorite, hey, just to piggyback off you right there, I also love the simple fact that he got outshined by Mount Lady in the first episode. And basically, Deku was like, he's about to show his new move. He's a brand new hero off
Yeah.
out of the womb, basically. And then it's like, oh, Mount Lady.
Yeah, he made it on the board and she didn't.
Yo,
I just like that,
which,
but
which is great. It's kind of like a slap in her face, basically. You took my little shine, but now, hey, enjoy my shine. Number 3 for me is probably one of the coolest teachers ever to live. His name is Eraserhead. His name is Eraserhead. Let's just say this. This man has so much character development. Like, you grow to love him. At first, you think, okay, he's just this weirdo, creepy, cocky hero right here who the whole I expel students if you're the lowest. And then just he's so smart to make them use their quirks that he makes them be better students.
mhm.
I love that he can erase quirks in a matter of seconds. I love that. And he's a ninja, and I love ninjas. So he's pretty cool right there in my book, too. And I just love him as a whole. Like his humble moment where he taps Deku with his chest with the fist in the rescue arc. Oh, man. I was just like, if I had a teacher like, Eraserhead,
No,
I'm telling you.
I agree. I think he's great. I had a hard time not putting him on my list though. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, I wanted to be a little more unique because like I feel like see I couldn't be more unique with the students list, but this one like there's so many different pro heroes. But this is going so just like before the All for One fight, he was number 2. He's number 2 on my list. We got our boy Enji Todoroki, pro hero endeavor. Besides Bakugo, this man has had the biggest character development. And I will
Dylan
say,
hates fire heroes.
I love fire heroes. I will say,
Oh, yeah? Then why are they not number 1? Why are they not number 1, Dylan?
we will get to that. But I will say this: Enji Todoroki, everyone, and a lot of people will agree, Enji Todoroki is an awful person, awful father. The hero endeavor is a amazing, great hero. He is the embodiment of a hero. I I love like he I'm a big sucker for people screaming powers or screaming abilities. Um and besides of course All Might, like Endeavor, his plus ultra, his prominence burns, all of his moves, they are just so good. I think he's an absolute badass. I think that Enji Todoroki, the dad, the father, trying to I don't know how I want to put this, trying to like not make things better in a way, but like just kind of not even trying to make up for things, but trying to like get things me move past. I guess like that character development's huge, but just becoming the number 1 hero and really standing for that and continuing to fight, even though he doesn't have All Might's power, going up against not Hood, who was a practically almost fully developed, if not fully developed, Hayanomu. Because the ones Miracle going against, they weren't fully developed. They were fresh out of the womb Hyans. They were still Hyans nonetheless. They were learning. But Hood, the one that went against Endeavor was super intelligent, yet he still managed to beat him with the help of Hawks as well. Which Hawks is another honorable mention, just he did not make the list. But yeah, so my number 2 is Endeavor.
On top of his Hawk statement right there, yeah, I don't like him. Anyway,
Okay.
uh, my number 2, and Dylan might fight me on this, but it's All Might. All Might is number 2 for the simple fact that, I mean, I love the fact that he was the number 1. I love his speeches. I love everything about it. The All Might versus All for One is definitely I excluding movies, it's probably my number 1 fight. I'm not gonna lie. That's probably my number 1 fight just based off of the feels, the development, and just getting to understand the two characters that were involved. But All Might, like, I love him. I love that he started our hero to be better, got him to train, got him to be from being a quirkless person to why he is the greatest hero. I just don't like the fact that, he has his power where it's basically inherited. To me, like, I know that makes him cool. I know that's one of the reasons it makes him cool. But to me, I don't know. I don't know. It's just All Might to me feels like he's just that generic hero that's super power. He's basically Superman, basically to me. He's basically Superman. He doesn't have the beams, but he's basically Superman. Is all of his other backstory stuff is cool? Absolutely. He was in America, which I can talk about because it's technically in the series. It's not just only the movies because it flirts with the first movie. Him and David Shields being in America, awesome. Him losing his power slowly, that was a good little way to like get Deku fully involved. And the mecha suit kind of deal that's about to be introduced here.
In the manga.
I'm excited for that. Well, even so, you get a little glimpse of it. It's a little briefcase, spoiler, that he has on him. But yeah, to me, he's just not number 1 in my heart. He's not. Don't get me wrong. All Might's great.
Yeah.
I love it because he is here and he puts his back into his fights. But not my number 1.
So we definitely did go 0 for 5. And
No.
I
0 for 5? No.
Yeah, we had no
Mirko.
But they don't match up. Your Mirko was 5, mine was
Oh,
4. That's what I mean.
You're talking about
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that no.
Yes.
Sorry.
So we do
I thought
have.
you were talking about
Yeah, no. At least right now, we're about to have 2 of the same characters. Mirko. All Might's my number 1. Now,
basic.
I understand how the feeling of, he just, got the quirk and everything. So why was Deku your number 1? Because Deku's the same. Deku got the quirk from All Might.
But this is the thing, though. I saw Deku's character development, though. I actually am seeing the embodiment of Deku becoming that great hero. All Might, I just got to see little glimpses and pieces of it.
That's
and
fair.
On top of it, too, though, I'm not a protagonist guy. So for him to make me fall in love with him,
that's big.
That's why he was number 1 on my list. If I didn't really care for the character itself, he would definitely be my number 2, and Bakugo would be my number 1. But because I actually have a feel for him and I actually can understand the character and appreciate the growth and development he has from being the crybaby to the great hero he's slowly becoming, that's why I put him number 1. As an All Might, I've only seen little glimpses, even with the first movie too. And I'm putting that into my decision too, even though we say no movies for this discussion right here in this little piece. Even though I got to see more of his a little bit of American backstory, I still don't really get to see what he did in that little time period before the jump where he's currently at that moment where he's basically shooting out blood and only in his form for so much.
No. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, but for me, his speeches, his fight scenes, the fact that after he lost his quirk, he still is All Might. He just, he doesn't have that strength, that power, but he still, stands out. He's intimidating. He is learning to be a teacher to guide Deku. I think he is a great character. I think he is a very well written character because you have 2 different sides. He's like a good Jekyll and Hyde. You have his strong form, his Small Might form, like I enjoy both of them, and that's why he is number one for me.
And I mean, the go on top of your All Might thing right here. I also like the fact that he, in moments, he will lower himself, especially with when he talked to Deku's mom, to ensure that when they went into the whole apartment, that
Mm-hmm.
he literally said that I will make sure in all my power that I will protect your son and teach him to be a great hero. To make her change her mind, that's another reason why he's in the top two for me. He's just like he said, speeches. Like he's good at it, and his character development is great. Like I said, though, I would love to see more. Like I would like to
Yeah.
see a prequel. That's for me. But my number one, which is your number two, which is Endeavor. I love Endeavor. I love the character development. I love the growth. I love how cocky and powerful he is. That he took being given the number one because All Might can't do is so personal that he made himself into a better person. That he basically he has his ups. He went from being on top of the world to being down to going back up, facing off against Shigaraki, and then going back down because he learned that his son is Dobby and became a villain and did that. And then that humbled him that he literally
Mm-hmm.
is going back up to his highs. That man literally is going through the ringer in his life in a matter of what? What would you say? 2 years? At the timeline that it's at right now, it's 2 years, maybe a year and a half, I would say. But for him to go
So
through,
the timeline of My Hero Academia from season 1 to season 6 is, I think, less than a year.
well, then see, and that's another even strong point right there that he's going through all of this in less than a year and still boosting his abilities to go up and think on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
Do I agree with what he did to Shoto? No. Do I agree what he did to Davi? Absolutely not. But me, great character development. Love the design. Love what he stands for. And he's power. And even if he gets beat to a point, he'll literally keep pushing.
Yep.
Just like All Might. But that's just my guy.
Yeah, so we have three of the same characters on our list, just not in the same order. So very diverse cast, but still good all around. I don't have any issues with yours. I can understand where you're coming from with all of them. Yeah, so with that, we will move right into the villains, which I have a very interesting take. I don't know if you considered this at all for my number five. Um, I can predicting real quick. I can say we at least have maybe three at the least characters that are
In the same
on
spot
not in the same spot, just on the same list.
on the
Maybe
list. Okay.
maybe four, but four position wise, I can probably guess two. We'll have two in the same spot. So for my number
I can
five, my
I can
number
see one being in the same spot. I didn't mean
okay,
to cut you off. I wanted to
yeah.
piggyback off that, but you're good. Go ahead.
So my number five are the Nomus. The
Like,
Nomus.
are you talking about Nomus as in like every single one we saw, or are you saying the Nomus that came after when in the Shigaraki battle, or are you doing it as a
I'm just
collective
kind of
whole?
because there's so many Nomus to kind of give one. Like I can choose Hood, I can choose the one against All Might, but like I just think the concept of Nomus in general, like these creatures that once humans or yeah humans who got turned into these monsters, like I just really find that cool. I think they're interesting, especially when you get into the high ends who are starting to develop their own quirks and all stuff like that. Like I just find it really cool.
It was Rudestro.
Redestro.
Yep. I love Rudestro. I love the fact that he pushed Shigaraki, making him understand that you're not just gonna come over here and you're gonna just take over my place. You're gonna have to push me to my limit if you want my liberation. You want any part of what I got. You want anything that I have. You have to push me to the limit. He pushed him to the limit, busting at the cities, and for him to make Shigaraki lose all the hands too, something that we haven't seen because he pushed Shigaraki to the degree where he is now his own and not letting the past affect him. That's why he's my number five. Plus, his power is amazing.
No, I definitely can see that and agree with that. But so moving to my number four, which I don't know if I have a good reasoning why he's not higher, but it is All for One. Um, now All for One, like I think he's a great villain. His theme music is my second favorite villain music across any anime. Number one is Akasa from Demon Slayer, but yeah. So I have All for One solo because like he is the mastermind behind everything. I just want more screen time with him, you know. And I feel like I'm gonna get that in the next season. But like we got so little with him so far, and I just I feel like I like other villains more because I've gotten more with them, and like the fact that he can steal quirks, it's cool. You know, it's the exact counteract of the main protagonist quirk, One for All. But yeah, so he is sitting at number 4 for me, just for the fact that I wish I could have more with him. It could always change next season because I guarantee you we're gonna have a whole season full of him. But as the time sitting in the anime aspect, as the time goes on, he is a number 4 for me. He did make the list, but he's not any higher than 4.
Ah, well, all right. Well, that was interesting. So my number 4 is gonna be Dobby. Why? I just me because we're I don't know. I don't know. See, my 4, like my 1 through 4 right here, 2 through 4 basically could flip flop for me. Just because I love the idea of Dobby. I love how cocky he is. I love how he basically torched Mr. Hawk. I love that. I was like, yeah, yeah, burn him to a crisp. I love that he has the powers. And if we could base it off of the manga too, he'd be a little bit higher because if you are up to date with that manga, boy, oh boy, that man has 2 quirks and he
Yep.
would have been way higher on my list. But Dobby is number 4, and I mean, I love his development. I love what it is. Just yeah, Dobby the man.
I can agree because Dobby's number 3 for me. Now, the reason
Okay,
why I put that is because, like, just like how the heroes and the students have character development, Dobby has character development. He first came in as this cocky, thinking high of himself villain who's cool. Blue Fire, it's cool, really hot. Blue, you know, the
like Azula off of Avatar.
Avatar, exactly. Like I thought it was really cool how Azula was stronger than Zuko. You know, all the theories of this is Shoto's brother. I didn't believe them at first. Like I definitely could see it, but I'm like, they're not gonna do that. To it actually coming true, and Dobby's dance is one of my favorite episodes ever. Like it was so well put together.
Like
But
the Obito effect.
yes, and the reason why I enjoy his character development because like he goes from this cocky dude who's still cocky to this absolute psychopath maniac. He loses
Yo.
he loses his mind, and I love it. I'm all for it. When Shoto's like, "You're losing your mind," and he's just laughing at him like, "Yep." And then Deku plays the same card where he's like, "This is your power," and he's like, "Okay, whatever." Like I'm still gonna kill him.
He's
Like
still a bastard. He's
it
still the
is just
father of the year.
he absolutely disrespected Endeavor with that video, and I thought it was one of the best things ever, and that's why he's number 3 for me.
It was a pretty cold video. Just they did that very well from what the manga panel was to what the show was. Ah, love it. Number 3 for me, Overhaul. I love Overhaul. That man who's just like, oh, dirty. Just little glimpse of him pulling his glove down for Eri to come back, put in the fear of God. And let's not forget him cutting her open, putting her back together, and then making think about this though. Without him doing all this stuff, you would not get those bullets with Shigaraki.
Yeah.
You got to think about it. He created one of the ultimate tools to stop heroes. He made Lemillion basically useless. He literally gave us a top 3 fight in the series with Deku having 100% and not breaking a single bone because of Eri. That was such beauty at its finest. I love Overhaul. I think him putting his own vision and changing the ways of the old into the new and having his own gang and giving other people a shot. And giving Shigaraki a run for his money, basically
Mhm.
making him hate him by the sight of him. And then his entrance where he just takes out one of their, I think it was Big Sis, right? Big Sis he killed right off the
Think
bat.
so,
The
yeah.
one who can pull people over with the
Yeah,
giant,
yeah.
yeah. Basically in a matter of seconds. The man can kill you, he can reanimate, he can make you be nothing and then bring you back. He can mess your whole life up. Number 3.
And I like that because he's my number 2. Uh,
A
Overhaul, I think, is a great villain. I like how he has this amazingly powerful quirk, yet you never see him actually like in a full battle mode up until Lemillion and then Midoriya comes in because he's so powerful no one stands a chance. When he went to recruit Rappa, the guy that went against Kirishima and Facum, he fought him in an MMA match and just instantly destroyed him, rebuilt him 5 times, and he
like
just
times.
he just like he's so cool. I find him so interesting as a villain and his viewpoint. And not only is the overall arc, the Chia Hasakai arc, one of my favorite arcs, but the back-to-back Lemillion versus Overhaul and Deku versus Overhaul are two of my favorite fights in
Don't
the
forget Night
anime.
Eye.
And Night Eye, I do forget about that, but Night Eye didn't last very long.
Oh
Not as
no,
long.
but I'm trying to, I'm not trying to interrupt you here, but listen though, that kind of changed the whole aspect of how is All Might actually going to die? Is it going to be a gruesome death?
Yep,
Because Deku proved
changed to the
his
future.
sight
Yep.
can be changed. Yep.
But yeah, so that's why Overhaul is my number 2. He was actually my favorite villain for a while until something happened to, put in that number 2 slot. But go ahead with your number 2.
So my number 2 is probably your number 1, and it's Shigaraki. And we're gonna have a debate about this because I already know because I see that face. And yeah, Shigaraki, great character development, got pushed to the edge. The man has crazy destructive power. His power, yet alone, without the implants, is ridiculously crazy. When he got those implants, though, that his body was like getting used to and everything, he still went toe to toe with Endeavor and a bunch of pro heroes, basically messing up Eraserhead, making Endeavor push himself to the limit. And yeah, I just love Shigaraki. I just love it because he even got to see his grandmother too, and that little flash forward, kind of like in that zone with him and Deku when all the people are talking.
Yep. Nana Shimura.
Yep, yep. So Shigaraki's my number 2. I love Shigaraki. Ain't nothing there. It's not me saying that I don't think he could be number 1 because the manga it can make me flirt with 1 and 2 again. But I'm just saying 2 through 4 is a flip
Yeah.
flop for me based off of how I'm feeling. But Shigaraki's number 2 for me.
No, you hit it
Oh,
on the
plus,
note.
plus, plus, he. I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're
Sorry,
good.
but Shigaraki though, for the simple fact that this man did his own villain group, had his own very episode, My Villain Academia, and he basically just. The reason why he's number 2 also is just because he's kind of weak minded if you think about it. The man literally is like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna listen to All for One and I'm gonna just be his vessel. Basically, if he could try not to be his vessel, at least where we're at in the anime, that would be better for me because then he has that Sasuke vibe where Sasuke's like, I'm not gonna be a
Yep.
vessel anymore,
Just
Orochimaru.
using
But
him for his power. Yep.
that's what I mean.
But yeah, no, you hit it on the nose because he is my number 1. I think that he has great character development. I think from the beginning, I didn't really like him whatsoever in the beginning. I thought he was annoying. To becoming
Whiny little
such
shit.
a insanely awesome villain, I think he's an absolute menace. I think
Yep.
he is pretty creepy. He's a creepy, awesome villain. I just, I don't know. I really do think that he holds the number 1 spot, and he is one of my favorite villains across the anime as well. Yep.
Wait, across the board, out of all animes you watch, he's your
Not
number one.
he's not my number one, but he is one of my favorites. I will say that
Okay,
he could
okay,
definitely be a
okay,
contender for top 3.
okay, okay. All right. So my number one villain is All for One. Why? The the saying less is more. This is where the phrase less is more comes in very hand. Comes literally goes hand in hand with this. Why? You literally don't know who's behind the screen the whole time. You're literally sitting there. You're wondering who this is. You're wondering, is he actually powerful? Is he just a flex? Is he just this person who's just weak? Kind of like in Star Wars with Anakin, where it's like Padme. No, Padme is the woman, but uh whoever the Sith Lord is, I can't think of his name off the top of my head right
Palpatine.
now. Yes, Palpatine. Sorry, Palpatine was this big bad, and like then it's just like no, he just mind controlled basically Anakin to become Darth Vader, and Darth Vader was stronger than him the whole way through.
Yep.
But All for One basically changes that. When he enters, one, he's carrying the Shigaraki in a way because he's like, this is all for you. But he's also sadistic because he literally is doing this for his own good. Let's also say right here, he basically took Best Genius out for a good chunk of the
Yeah.
whole story, which was what he was number three. He was no wait number three, number three, number five. He was in the top five, correct?
Number 4. He was number 4 at first, and now he's number 3.
Yeah. Okay. So and then you have an intro that gives you chills in your spine. You can't get too many villains that have a great like theme when he walks in. He pushed All Might to the brink. He even though he's weak, he basically mocked him, belittled him, basically just wanted to just toy with him the whole time. They just said, "Okay, I'm going to combine these 5 powers. Can you stop me?" He gave me the Madara feels. I loved it. I loved every second about it. And I cannot wait to where the anime is up to the point where the manga is, because then All for One, without a doubt, in my mind, could be number one regardless. It's in his name, All for One. Should be number one. The man is a menace. He does not care but to destroy the hero world. And
No,
he can steal powers.
yeah. No, I definitely can see, and like he definitely would be number 1 for me. I just feel like I am attached to other characters more because I got more screen time with them. I completely agree. Less is more. It gives you that good feeling about him and the chills and everything. But I grew attached to other characters more.
And see, I respect that.
Yep.
And before I continue here, I'm not contradicting my word with some of the fight scenes that I said that were too short. It's just with All for One, him specifically with
Yep.
the less is more works. Everything else though, I stand by.
But yeah, so we are getting pretty close to our time range here for the episode. So that was talking My Hero Academia. That was a short overview, a rating, and our top 5 for the class, the heroes, and the villains. Um, yeah, so make sure you guys go over, check out the YouTube channel if you're watching this. If you are not, we should have this up on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever podcasts can be found. You can go over and find some of my content at Dylan Comstock on YouTube. Also, Lord Pickle on YouTube for gaming videos.
Dilly.
And yeah, I will head it off to Professor Reggin.
And hey, you can come check out my stuff at Mad Reggin on YouTube. Come on over. We got plenty of content there, reactions, video games, whole bunch of good stuff there. Check it out. Come join the nation, baby.
Yeah, but yeah, that's everything for this class. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know if there's any other topics you want to know about or any other animes you want to know about. And yeah, that was the Anime Academia. Class is officially over.
And don't forget, go Plus Ultra!
Yes, sir.